Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Weather Forecast Center. This is John, here to give you the latest on the current conditions out there today and what is going to happen in the next 7 days. Right now, we currently have a severe thunderstorm watch here in the mid Atlantic until 7 p.m. Primary risk is um, wind, but some hail cannot be ruled out. Um, we also have showers and thunderstorms here into the mid South, along the Gulf Coast into Texas, with a frontal system has draped through the area. Also have showers, some thunderstorms here in the Northeast with a cold front. And we have scattered showers and thunderstorms here in the Four Corners region. So that is what we have going on right now. Clear some of this out. So here is what is going on as far as current hazards. There, like I mentioned, there is a severe thunderstorm watch in the Mid-Atlantic for Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Western Maryland, and Northwestern Virginia. That's far northwestern Virginia until 7 o'clock this evening. Primary threats is wind up to 70 miles an hour and some hail that could be up to 1.5 inches in diameter. We also have heat advisories here for Oregon, Washington State, and northern panhandle of Idaho. Some heat will be building into the northwest as this week goes on. I will show you the temperatures in a little bit. And we have flood watches in effect for the Gulf Coast of Mississippi and Louisiana and inland areas in Louisiana where there is a tropical disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico right now. There is also currently a flash flood warning in southwestern PA. So those are the current hazards. The SPC outlook for today shows a slight risk of severe weather here in the yellow shading, which includes far southwestern New York State through much of central and western Pennsylvania into much of West Virginia into northern and far northwestern parts of Virginia and the western part of Maryland. A marginal risk, let's change colors here. Marginal risk goes from upstate New York back to upstate New York around the slight risk area into Ohio, all of Kentucky, far southern Indiana, far southern Illinois, and far southeastern Missouri into much of Tennessee, the far northwestern part of North Carolina, through much of Virginia, through much of Maryland, Pennsylvania, and up through most of New York State. And there is also a marginal risk of severe weather today up here in northeastern Minnesota through far northern Wisconsin and parts of the UP of Michigan. The rest of the green shaded areas have a general risk of thunderstorms. There is a 5% risk of hail upwards of 1 inch in diameter in the green shaded region here, which includes much of western New York State, much of Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, all West Virginia, um, far eastern Kentucky, far western Maryland, far northwestern Virginia. And inside the severe thunderstorm watch, which covers approximately this area here, there is a risk of up to 1.5 inch hail with any of those storms inside the watch area. As far as the wind outlook, in the yellow shaded region, which I have outlined, there is a 15% chance of wind exceeding 60 miles an hour. In the green shaded region, which includes the Minnesota, Wisconsin, UP of Michigan area, 5% chance of wind exceeding 60 miles an hour. For tomorrow, there is a marginal risk of severe weather from New Hampshire down to northern Georgia, includes northern South Carolina, most of North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, all of Virginia, southeastern parts of West Virginia, all Maryland, all Delaware, all Jersey, New Jersey, that is, the eastern half of Pennsylvania, the southeastern parts of upstate New York, all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, much of Massachusetts, and far southern New Hampshire. In the light green shaded region, there is just a general risk of thunderstorms tomorrow. And the risk for tomorrow, there is a 5% chance of wind exceeding 60 miles an hour in the marginal risk area. The hail threat is less than 5%, and there is generally not a tornado risk for tomorrow. For day 3, which is Monday, Labor Day, there is a marginal risk of severe weather from Maine to South Carolina. That includes northern South Carolina. That includes eastern Tennessee, much of North Carolina, all Virginia, far southeastern parts of Kentucky, far southeastern parts of West Virginia, all Virginia, most of Maryland, all of Delaware, the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, all of New Jersey, southeastern parts of upstate New York, all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, all of Massachusetts, far southern Vermont, all of New Hampshire, and all of Maine. And the percentage of severe weather is just a 5% chance of any kind of significant severe weather in the marginal risk area for Labor Day. So if you come across any severe thunderstorm warnings on Labor Day Monday, please go into a safe place when necessary. We will go over now the model guidance now for the next 7 days. We're going to use the Euro model for this one, as at the time of recording the new GFS is still running. So we will use the Euro for the model guidance for the next week, starting off at 18Z today, which is 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'm doing this at 5:23, so this is old, but this is the newest run of the Euro. So we have scattered showers and thunderstorms from Maine down through Pennsylvania, Ohio, into Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and into Arkansas and Oklahoma. We have the heavy rain here along the Mississippi and Louisiana coast and South Texas and along the Texas coast. And then we have some showers and thunderstorms here that are starting to drop south and east into Minnesota. And your usual showers and thunderstorms in Florida. So we will go to 0Z, which is 8 o'clock this evening. Showers and thunderstorms along a frontal system here from upstate New York through Pennsylvania, through Maryland, West Virginia, Kentucky, into Missouri. We have, hold on a second. Showers and thunderstorms here in Oklahoma and northern Texas. Let me highlight this better. So there you go. Okay, and now we got the showers and thunderstorms dropping through northeastern Minnesota, through northern Wisconsin, on its way to the upper peninsula of Michigan. And we continue with the heavy rain down here in Louisiana and Mississippi. Scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two down here in southern Texas. And the northwest stays dry through this period. This is 8 a.m. Sunday. Probably have some scattered showers here along coastal northeast. Showers and thunderstorms here. Maryland, West Virginia, into Kentucky, southern Illinois, far southeastern Missouri, into northeastern Arkansas. Showers and thunderstorms in southern Arkansas and Louisiana. You still have this batch of rain with this tropical disturbance down here along the Mississippi and Louisiana coast and into the eastern Texas coast. And the rest of the country up. Maybe some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder here in northern Texas, but the rest of the country is dry as of the 8 o'clock, as of 8 a.m. Sunday. As we go into 8 tomorrow night. Scattered showers approaching Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and northern New York State. Showers and thunderstorms from the Carolinas up to the Delmarva region. Again, showers and thunderstorms in Florida. The heavy rain will cease in Louisiana and Mississippi along the Gulf Coast, but scattered showers and thunderstorms in northern Louisiana. Much of central Texas will see some scattered showers and thunderstorms as the Northwest continues to stay dry and is starting to heat up at this point. As we go to 8 a.m. Monday, showers and thunderstorms, primarily in the Atlantic, but some might be lingering into northern North Carolina and Virginia, along the South Carolina coast and Georgia coast. Showers and thunderstorms and heavy rain in Texas. Some scattered showers and storms along the Louisiana Gulf Coast and the Texas Gulf Coast. While big high pressure system comes in from the north and west and drops the temperatures in the Midwest and the northern plains, while the desert Southwest starts to heat up along with the Rockies and the Northwest. This is 8 p.m. on Labor Day. Scattered showers and thunderstorms pretty much for the Southeast and Florida. Scattered showers and thunderstorms primarily in Texas. Maybe a scattered shower or two in the Intermountain West. I see a couple blips, but otherwise, the rest of the country is dry as of 8 p.m. Labor Day. As we go back to work and school on Tuesday, showers and thunderstorms here in Texas and along the Texas Gulf Coast. Maybe a shower into the panhandle of Florida. Otherwise, Florida will be dry for the time being. Coastal showers and storms from Charleston, South Carolina down to north of Jacksonville, Florida. And some scattered showers here into Idaho and far western Montana. This is 8 a.m. Tuesday morning. As we go into Tuesday evening, showers and thunderstorms with a frontal system clears the South Carolina coast but lingers down into northern Florida and the Florida Panhandle. Scattered showers and thunderstorms from Texas back into Alabama. And some scattered showers and thunderstorms here in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. And possibly some showers and thunderstorms here into Colorado. Much of the rest of the U.S. will be dry Tuesday evening. For Wednesday morning, Showers and thunderstorms here with a tropical disturbance still in the Gulf of Mexico will bring showers and thunderstorms to Mississippi, Arkansas, and much of eastern and southeastern Texas. Some showers and thunderstorms along the Florida Panhandle, and now getting into the Alabama Gulf Coast. Scattered showers and thunderstorms here along the southeast coast. Also, some showers and thunderstorms possible here into eastern Montana Wednesday morning. For Wednesday evening, scattered showers and thunderstorms continue into southeastern Texas, through Louisiana into Arkansas, western Tennessee, and much of Mississippi. Also, scattered showers and thunderstorms here into southern Alabama and into much of Florida. Showers and thunderstorms possible along the North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia coast as another front approaches the northern plains. Scattered showers and thunderstorms from North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska into Colorado, while the rest of the nation continues to stay dry. Thursday morning, a frontal system is on the move, so showers and thunderstorms in the morning hours in northeastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, getting into the UP of Michigan again. We will have scattered showers and thunderstorms here in eastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. And with this moisture plume here, we will have showers and thunderstorms from western Kentucky, western half of Tennessee through Mississippi, Alabama, down to the Gulf Coast, Florida Panhandle, and along the Texas Gulf Coast and along the Louisiana Gulf Coast. Maybe an isolated shower or storm here in Nebraska, also here in Kansas and Oklahoma, but the rest of the country stays dry through Tuesday morning. As we go into Thursday evening, front continues to make east-southeastward progress, so showers and thunderstorms through the UP of Michigan into lower Michigan, down through southern Wisconsin, into Iowa and northern Illinois. Showers and thunderstorms here in the mid-Atlantic. Showers and thunderstorms and heavy rain through Alabama, Florida Panhandle, Georgia, Tennessee, and the Gulf Coast regions of Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Maybe some scattered showers and thunderstorms on the southeast coast of Texas. And up here into North Dakota, some showers and thunderstorms are possible. Maybe one here in Kansas, maybe one here in Oklahoma, one here in Missouri. But outside of that, the rest of the nation will be dry Thursday evening. As we go into Friday morning, cold fronts still chart, moving to the southeast. So scattered showers maybe a rumble of thunder into lower Michigan. And then we got another frontal system here. Looks like a warm front here and a cold front here. That will bring showers and thunderstorms in the morning hours through Virginia, Maryland, into Delaware, possibly into South Jersey, into southeastern Pennsylvania, back into West Virginia, into far eastern Ohio. Showers and thunderstorms in Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi, down in along the Louisiana Gulf Coast. Well, we have some showers here in Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and northern Nebraska. While everyone else is dry for Friday morning. For Friday evening, the warm front that was down in Virginia has moved up into the mid-Atlantic now. So showers and thunderstorms for Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Dover, Delaware, into Scranton, Pennsylvania, into upstate New York, while a secondary cold front is charging east and will cause showers and thunderstorms through lower Michigan into Ohio. Low pressure develops on the cold front here, which will promote showers and thunderstorms from the Florida Panhandle throughout southeastern Alabama through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in Nebraska. Maybe a leftover shower storm back in Wisconsin going into lower Michigan, but other than that, most of the weather will be in the eastern third of the country come Friday evening. Now we will go over temperatures for the next 7 days, starting with today. 70s and 80s through the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. 90s through South Carolina to Florida. 80s in the Midwest. 90s in the Mid-South. And Louisiana will be in the 80s due to the heavy rain and clouds. 70s, 80s, and 90s here in the Plains. 80s in the Rockies. 100 to 100 teens here in the desert Southwest. And 90s and 100s here in the Northwest and the valleys of California. Sunday high temperatures, 70s and 80s in the Northeast, 80s and 90s through Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast, 90s in Florida, 70s and 80s here in the Midwest, 90s here in the Mid-South, could get up to the mid to upper 90s in southeastern Alabama, southwestern Georgia. 70s in the northern plains, 80s and 90s in the central and southern plains, 80s and 90s here in the Rockies. Hundreds to hundred and teens here in the desert Southwest, and 90s and 100s here in the Northwest, 80s and 90s through the valleys of California. High temperatures for your Labor Day. A few 60s, but 70s and 80s in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. 80s and 90s through the Southeast and into Florida. 70s in the Great Lakes region. Be a very comfortable day for your Labor Day activities in the Great Lakes region. 70s and 80s down here in the Midwest. 90s here in the Mid-South. 80s and a few 90s here in the Plains. Maybe some mid to upper 90s in South Dakota. 80s and 90s here in the Rockies. Primarily 100s here in the desert Southwest, and 80s and 90s here in the Northwest and the valleys of California, 90s to around 100. On Tuesday, where everyone goes back to work and school, a few 60s, but 70s and 80s rules the roost along the East Coast. 90s in Florida. 80s and a few 90s here in the Mid-South. Also in the Plains. Great Lakes and Midwest be 70s and 80s. Few 60s, but 70s and 80s, primarily in the Rockies. 100 to 100 teens here in the desert Southwest. 90s to 100s here in the Valley of California, and 80s and maybe a couple 90s here in the Northwest. Your Thursday high temperatures, 70s and 80s primarily for the East Coast, 90s in Florida. 80s. 70s and 80s in the Mid-South Plains, the Great Lakes region, and the Midwest. So, and maybe a couple of 90s, as there are a couple of 90 readings here. One's in San Antonio, one's over here. Oh, I don't know. That's up near Houston, will be 88, so that would be like 89 Texarkana, 80 maybe Tyler, but primarily 70s and 80s and maybe a couple of 90s in Texas. A few 60s, but 70s and 80s primarily in the Rockies. Hundreds and teens here in the desert Southwest, where it's usually hot. In the valleys of Oregon and California, 90s and 100s. For the rest of the Northeast, or the Northwest, I should say, 80s and 90s. These are your Thursday high temperatures, 70s and 80s along the East Coast. Includes Georgia, 80s and 90s in Florida. Um, so we're going to do this again. This is primarily 70s and 80s, with a few 90s in Texas. For the Mid-South Plains, the Great Lakes region, and the Midwest. Again, with a couple of 90s sprinkled in. 80s in the Rockies, 100 to 100 teens in the desert Southwest, 100 in the valleys of Oregon and California, and in the Northwest, primarily 80s and 90s. And here is your Friday high temperatures, primarily 70s and 80s along the East Coast, 80s and 90s in Florida, 60s here in the northern Great Lakes. Otherwise, 70s and 80s through the Midwest and the rest of the Great Lakes region. Mid-South, primarily 80s. Southern Plains, 90s. Well, 90s in Texas, 70s and 80s in the rest of the plains. 80s in the Rockies. 100 and 100 teens here in the desert Southwest. 100s here in the valleys of California. And 80s and 90s here in the Northwest. So now we will look at the tropics for the next 7 days. Yes, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about, a possible tropical storm, hurricane, buzzsaw in the Gulf of Mexico, or ranging from Gulf of Mexico to Florida Panhandle. In the longer ranges, but I will tell you this, I only do things up to 7 days in advance. Anything beyond that is in La La Land, and more than likely that will change run by run. So I don't even bring it up. Okay? If you want to enjoy seeing all that, you can always go into pivotal weather, tropical tidbits, and knock yourself out. But that is not a forecast. Okay? I am doing model runs up to 7 days, and I will not talk about anything past 7 days. That's how I work the tropics. So with all the noise about this, this next named storm and blah 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 blah, I only talk the next 7 days and what I see, and that is that. So that's how I work the tropics. So if you want to have fun, go to, you can use pivotal weather or tropical tidbits and do your own model runs with that. But I only goes 7 days out. Because anything beyond that is garbage. So, with that being said, we are starting this off. Let me see. This is. So, let me go to 12Z. Okay, because the 18Z is running. Am I on the right one? No, because yes, I am using the right one. Okay, so I did use that. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do, I wrote down a bunch of notes. Basically, I'm just going to progress till I hit certain stopping points on my list. I will explain what's going on and point out to you on the map here. Let me get to the right one first, because this is one I want to look at. So, with all that being said, make sure that. So, let me go to, yeah, this is 18Z. So, on this mile run at 18Z, there is a 1009 millibar low here out in the East Atlantic, just off Africa, with showers and thunderstorms that are with it. It is not completely surrounding it. It is primarily to the west and south of this low pressure system. Okay. So as we move this forward, you can see that the low is fluctuating and barely moving. It gets a little bit better organized here, but it's only showing a 1011 low here. This is tomorrow afternoon. It's just meandering off of Africa at this time. As we continue forward, the low comes and goes. We will take this to so on this is where I made my next notes. So at 6Z Tuesday, okay, it slowly moved west and is very weak with a 1010 low pressure system. But another wave comes off of Africa with a 1009 millibar low and showers and thunderstorms that are just about around it. As we continue forward, the first wave weakens, and then the second wave is moving slowly to the west, and by here by 6Z Wednesday is a 1009 millibar low, and is now a formal tropical wave out here in the East Atlantic. After this, as we continue forward, it starts going more towards the northwest and north, and it stays weak around 1010 millibars. We'll stop it here, and this is as of Thursday. A 1010 millibar low. It was down here. Now it's tracked northwest to north up into this vicinity here. So as we continue forward, it stays relatively weak and at times nearly stationary. And I took this beyond. So this is barely moving. So by this is 11 o'clock on Sunday the 8th is a 10-11 low just sitting out here in the East Atlantic, not moving much. So now we will take a look at the Western Atlantic. I'll give you some, this is Puerto Rico where my cursor is, the Lesser Antilles, Hispaniola, Cuba. This is Florida, the Bahamas. Okay? So this is starting at 18Z today. There are very few showers and thunderstorms out here today, not even associated with any kind of waves. As we progress through Sunday into Monday, still widely scattered showers and thunderstorms still continue down here in the Western Atlantic. As we continue forward, you saw an L pop up here, but that's too far south, so we're looking in this kind of region in here, and it's still only showing showers and thunderstorms just scattered about with no organized systems. Could get some, some squally weather in Cuba, Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico through this period, but, not from the typical stuff that you usually see during the summer months. As we still continue forward, we're now into Tuesday. This is Tuesday night. We got some showers and thunderstorms, a little bit heavier rainfall here in the Dominican Republic and Cuba. There's a little, a wave out here. Well, I missed my mark. So we'll start it here again. So this is no. Yeah. Okay. So we will continue this forward. Again, your scattered showers and thunderstorms continue through Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and Cuba. This is where I was talking about. So you might have some heavy rain here in the Dominican Republic and Haiti, here in Cuba. This is Wednesday night, and you have a possible low pressure center here out well east of the Lesser Antilles. That starts moving to the west and then weakens. So as we go through Wednesday, still only just some showers and thunderstorms. Here comes the next wave So here comes your next wave here, which is over here. That starts to come west. Does it develop? By this run, it doesn't show it does. Okay? Just a wave moving west, and it's going to be going north of the Lesser Antilles. And with the last tropical wave, it starts to clear out in the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms in Cuba. As we still continue this forward, now we're getting into Friday of next week. There's just nothing. Just scattered showers and thunderstorms in the Western Atlantic. Could have some heavier rain Tuesday and Wednesday in Dominican Republic and Cuba, but other than that, no real formable waves coming into this region. And we'll take it out 168 hours out. And there is nothing. So this is next Saturday. There is nothing here in the Western Atlantic, nothing in Cuba, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, just scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in Lesser Antilles. Now there is a tropical wave that is just off the screen on Saturday. Am I going to show you what that is? No, because that's past 7 days. So now we will go into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is the tropical wave right now that's out here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's causing all the heavy rain, showers, and thunderstorms, and the flood watch that is currently in effect for Louisiana and Mississippi. As we continue this forward, it dissipates, then fires back up with the heating of the day. And then along the southeast Texas coast, the rain starts going in there. And, and then lots of showers and thunderstorms out in the Gulf of Mexico, but no real dominant low pressure system is developing. You got some showers and thunderstorms along the southeast Texas coast, and possibly along the Florida coast here on the west side of Florida. As we continue forward, just scattered showers and thunderstorms in the Gulf of Mexico with no real short waves. Then you might have a little bit of an organization of a low, possibly either out here or closer in here, with more in the way of heavy rain, showers, and thunderstorms in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Gulf Coast, and into the South Texas coast by Wednesday. Some heavier stuff going into northern Louisiana, but still heavy rain showers and thunderstorms along the southern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama coast. Gulf Coast, that is, and along the Florida Gulf Coast as we continue through Thursday. Um, this finally starts shifting east. So now we have leftover showers and storms along the south coast of Texas and along the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida Gulf Coast. This is with the front that's coming down Thursday into Friday, and with that front, a low develops in southern Alabama, but that will be attached to the front. There is nothing but just scattered showers and thunderstorms in the Gulf Coast region of South Texas and Louisiana and into Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. And then by Saturday or Friday night, 8 o'clock, most of the disturbed weather has shifted east into the southeast coast. And by next Saturday, the Gulf of Mexico is quiet again. So, as far as the tropics in the Gulf of Mexico, there is just a tropical wave that's going to sit over Louisiana and will drift into the Mississippi, Alabama, and South Texas Gulf Coast through much of the week until frontal system clears the area Friday, going into next weekend. That is all I have for today. I hope everyone has a wonderful Saturday evening and a wonderful holiday on Monday. And I'll be live again soon with an update on Tropics and if any severe weather is to occur during next week. So with that, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.